Okay, this is Navy Old Salt Gamer. Welcome back to Stationeers in the Brutal mode. Stationeers Brutal mode, the hardest mode. A couple things real quick. This is a day 46. Still surviving. This is a trick that I learned from the trader. I got a liquid oxygen canister. If you drop that on the floor in your room, you get pretty much inexpensive cooling, because when you put it back in your storage like that, it doesn't cool off. It doesn't change the temperature. So when it's stored, it stays the same. When you drop it on the floor, it drops the temperature quite a bit, because it's like minus 156 in that canister. I'm keeping an eye on it to make sure that it doesn't go crazy or anything, start expanding. There's my oxygen tank set up. And I've expanded my little growing area. This is cramped. It is Vulcan. You just don't have time to do anything that you want to do. I'm finally getting to the point. You see, I got 40 liters of water. Again, I went trader mode. So I sell ores, which is the hardest thing to do because you can't find any ore traders.
Oxygen low.
And buy stuff right now. This is a bit of a piecemeal video because I skip a lot of the boring stuff like mining and that kind of stuff. Here's my outside setup. I have the water tank there, the atmospheric tank.
Hunger, caution.
And I load bulk water into that, and then I pump it into here. One of the things I don't seem to understand is why I have pressure. There's not much in there, but in this pipe past the turbo pump, I don't know if I look at it here eventually, but I have pressure in that pipe right there, not the tank, but that pipe. I got 4 liters in there. I'm not sure why it's not going into the canister. It's kind of frustrating. So I have to keep popping the canisters out. And I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to hook up my gas in the future here so I can buy some bulk oxygen if I can find it. And that's my spare corner, so when I want to get something out of there that I don't want to send to the ice crusher. Again, this is Navy Old Salt Gamer while I'm looking for trading. If you like the videos, please subscribe and hit the like button. I appreciate it. I actually watched Cows Are Evil this morning. He's trying this with the plants mod on. That's got to be crazy. He does use a power mod, which makes sense, which I never heard of before. And I haven't done it in this one. I'm not going to switch it now because it gives you a lot more solar power based on how much the planet generates. Otherwise, it's all 500. If I turn that on now, I got 3 solar panels up there. I might just blow all my cables, so I'm not going to switch to that. But I might use that in the future, because it does make sense. You only get 500 watts no matter what planet you're on. And here comes the trader. So basically, I'm working on expansion now. I'm okay with power. I'm okay with water based on the trader. I still don't have an oxygen source. I would love to start generating my own water. My goal in this is to become, planetary independent, where I don't have to go with the trader. But on the Stationeers Brutal mode, I don't see how you can do it, because you just start going through water and food so crazily enough. But food's not so bad. Water is the issue. Oxygen is the issue. So I got both of those. I bought 100 ice oxide from a trader and bulk water from the trader after I found a trader that would take ores from me, or buy ores from me. You can see that I got 16 liters more. So if I turn that on, that pumps it. It doesn't really go into the tank here because it's siphoning it out right into this canister here, which, again, I got 13 liters in there. I should have 13 liters in the canister. Well, now I'm up to 12. I think that might be the max. So I have to switch that canister out. And it pulls it out of there really fast. $14 liters. Yeah, so I swapped that out. It only goes up to 9 with this system, the way it looks to me. There we go, 11 liters in the pipe and only 7. You can't hook a turbo pump. Maybe I could try a regulator. You can't hook a turbo pump right up to the canister or the utility. It won't let you do it. So you have to put a pipe in between it, and it kind of steals some of your water, which is a little annoying. I got no water in there, 11 liters in there, and 7 in the canister. So, again, it won't completely fill the canister. I'm not sure why. This is when I'm going up and I'm putting on my third. I've made astroloy. That was not easy either. I think I got the advanced furnace now. If not, it comes up here shortly. But I did make astroloy. I have not bought any metals except for 10 Invar when I started, because I wanted to get some tool upgrades, and it was just the quickest way to get some tool upgrades, like the heavy miner, which you really need fast. The mining drill. I'm pretty sure this is about as good as it's going to get over here. 11.5. Pretty much empty. So I turn that off. And 7. So it's kind of hogging 4 liters of my, well, maybe even a couple, but I have to figure that out. And I'm still debating how I'm going to hook up my other tank. I may have to spin some things around or something, but I'll figure it out. And of course, you don't get much time to do anything. And my food's going off, but I'm not too concerned about that. I'm very careful with my doors. I have yet to have a problem. But temperature's good in here. I am getting a little low in oxygen only because I like to siphon it out. I like to keep it empty. And in my canister filter, I found out you can get down to around 60-65 moles of oxygen in the room and still breathe. If you get under that, then you get the low oxygen warning. So I tend to keep it somewhere around 80, so I don't have any issues. I'm getting really tired of all these bottles. I do start throwing them out later here. Now this is where I'm changing this to not only just pull it out, but to actually adding a regulator to keep it pressurized, because it got to the point where I'd like to keep my tank around 85, and I do have a labeler here, which I forgot about, so I apologize for that. You have to sit here and watch me click that, and there's a labeler in my tool belt. Oops. But I keep this at 85 now, so it keeps my tank all at 85. I have about, I think, 7 megapascals in my oxygen network, so I got a lot in there yet.
Jetpack critical.
This is one of the things I've already noticed about Cows Are Evil. If you don't go on the brutal mode, you can hover a lot more with your jetpack. In the Stationeers Brutal mode, I mean. When you go Stationeers Brutal, your jetpack goes down really fast, and if you're not paying attention while you're mining, you get the warning, and then you have to start jumping over crevices and hoping that you don't fall in, because if you do, you barely have enough jetpack to get back to base. Now, that's happened to me once or twice where I'm like, oh my god, and you start jumping over crevices and hoping that you land correctly. It hasn't killed me yet, but now I watch it a lot closer. If I get to around 1,000, I stop mining, because I need that much just to get back to my base in most cases. And as you see, very cramped. This is what happens in this mode. You just can't expand very fastly.
Oxygen low.
Very fastly? Very fast. Very fast. I do stop turning my light off here eventually. I don't really have a power problem. It's just force of habit from the beginning of the game. But I am up to day 50, so I would say Stationeers Brutal mode I'm doing pretty good on. I haven't had any major issues yet. I did accidentally drain some oxygen once into my vacuum in the manufacturing room, and it took forever to pump that back out. Thankfully, I had a vacuum out there, and there wasn't any pollutants or anything. I did make sure everything was nil, like it is right now. You can see there's no pressure in nil. So I left. I didn't completely drain the hatch and some oxygen get out here, but I was able to filter it, to pump it back in. I have put an airlock on the front, as you can see there, which makes it a lot easier to keep the vacuum in here. I don't have to really worry about it anymore, with one exception. And I paused later on in this video. I paused a few times because I had to really think, and I'll explain it when I get to it. And that's just funny timing. I took the thing out and the light turned off. I was like, what did I do? But when I expand my oxygen room, the room that I just came out of there, Vulcan has some really unique issues. I don't know if it's just in the brutal mode or not, but it's not, you can't just expand. There's so many precautions you have to take. And when I get to them, I'll explain it. And I think that I might be getting to that point right now. You see, I am already got some frames out here. See if anybody notices the mistake I made, that before I opened the room up, I'm thinking, did I do everything? And then I caught it, and it could have been disaster. But I'll let you go until I fix it. Maybe you could see it. I also was wondering about covering up the pipes, if that would mess up my AC a little bit. It did not. It still works fine. The only way I can really expand is out this way to start with. I could probably go to my left as I'm facing right now too, but it's much easier to go this way. I'm just welding everything up here. There's two mistakes I actually made. One that might not have been a mistake. One is right there. I'm like, do I need to cover that? Do I need to cover that? And I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe not, maybe not. Yeah, let's cover it. I have the frame. Why risk it? So I throw that on there. I don't think it would have mattered, but I'm just so paranoid about covering everything. So I sealed that up too. I had the frames in the sheet, so it didn't really matter. Now, very recently, or very shortly, not recently, shortly, I do go with the arc welder, because I take notice, and I think it's off the camera when I wasn't rolling, that my tank in my welder is getting low. So I'm thinking, well, I need more Invar for that too. Invar is not too hard to make. The temperature's a little tricky without the advanced furnace. So there's where I weld up some of my pipes, and that didn't matter. Probably not the smartest way to go. time. I mean, you just don't have time to do anything. So now I'm looking around thinking, is it all done? I think it's all done. And then this is where I go inside and stop, because there's so many things you have to think about here. And I got in just in time because the storm hit. So I do pause it during the storm because obviously that's boring. So again, that airlock helps so much with keeping the vacuum in here. I don't have to worry about pumping air out anymore. And you notice I did add a nitrogen canister because I am breathing the stuff I made from the ice oxide, which releases nitrogen, which is fine. You just have to remember to put a nitrogen canister in your suit, or obviously you choke to death. So here's where I stop it and I start thinking, did I cover everything? And then I go back. And I didn't. I don't think I filmed it, but I didn't cover everything because I went back outside and added a wall to, and you'll see it when I pop it open, if this is where it is. Maybe I just now thought of it. I do have to make an adjustment on the outside. I'm wondering if anybody noticed it, because I thought about it, and then yep, this is it. This is where I thought about it, and I run back outside. Did I do that? And there you go, right in that corner. I have to pop that open. And I'm like, well, I can't do that. But that's going to be exposed, so that would have been a disaster. Luckily, by being cautious and thinking things through, I actually, while I was thinking that period, and you see I did some mining too off the screen. My mining belt is full. So here we go. I put a wall up there. Now there's something else. I'll start explaining this about what I thought about. If you don't do this, when you pull those walls out, you get outside atmosphere in the room, which means even though it should be a vacuum, it's not. I don't know why, but those welded iron squares have atmosphere in them. So if I pop that open, it's going to release volatiles and pollutants in the room. And I'm thinking, how am I going to deal with that? And I'm sitting here, how am I going to deal with that? And then I pause it, and you'll see it over to the left here. That's just one of the problems. If I look to my left, I brought a scrubber in here, a portable scrubber. And boy, this really made the room cramped. There it is. There's a portable scrubber. I'm still cooling off. Now, why am I looking at the temperature? Well, volatiles, I think it's at 300K, will self-ignite. So I have to be below 300K when I crack these rooms, even though they're sealed. So now I should be okay. Now, I could be wrong about that. I didn't risk it. I waited till it got to nighttime cool before I popped this room open, but I'm pretty sure that would have been a problem. So there we go. I popped it open. I now have volatiles and pollutants galore in my room, so I turned this on. There you go. You can see my two filters, and there you are. So I have to get that out of here because it's going to kill my plants up to a point. I think it's 1% volatile, so it filters it out pretty quick. So I just didn't want to lose my plants. But again, thinking before I did this, I was like, there's going to be volatiles and pollutants in those walls because every time I pop a wall off, or a iron cube or square, I get the outside air. And it doesn't say they're being hurt anymore, so I am okay, but I want to get all that stuff out of there. I'm pretty sure after 1%, of both, you're fine. With potatoes, I know it's different with other things. But I just want to get it all out of here. Now you see my pressure went down about 25 kPa because of that. And I'm cleaning up the mess. Now again, this is really cramped in here because I added that scrubber. But I gave myself enough room to expand a little bit. I needed it. I want to become oxygen independent first. So I wanted to expand my greenhouse. I did do that. I don't know if it's enough yet. I kind of feel that it might be. But I do still have my backup tank there, which I dump here pretty soon because at this point it's just in the way. I can buy bulk oxygen if I need to, or not bulk oxygen, although I could do that. But it's easier just to buy the oxide. And that's done. So now I want to pack this up. And here's another thing that I thought about before I did it. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this. And here's where I'm like, I got to do something about these damn bottles. I'm taking up half my locker. But anyway, I'm like, okay, so just get these filters out of the way. And I'm going to start throwing those out. And I could just disassemble this, right? I'm like, yeah, we'll disassemble. I'm like, what happens to the air in there when I disassemble this? I'm like, no. So I grab that and I take it outside because I'm thinking it'll probably just release that air in there. I don't use scrubbers very often. So I clean this all out and I turn it off, open the hatch, and then I open it out here because I'm really curious now, does it release the air? And you can hear, and I should have closed the hatch. There we go. You can hear when I disassemble this, the air comes out. So yes, it does release the air. And there we go. I got 3 kilopascals of pollutants and volatiles in here. So I'm glad I didn't disconnect this thing, because now I need it anyway. So it's all good. If I would have opened that inside there, I would have had to do it all over again. But I'll just let that run until there's nothing in here. And it's still temperature. So as far as I'm concerned, if there's temperature, there's still bad air in here. It's just the way I do business. And I have skipped most of the daily, drink your food, eat your, drink your food, drink your water, eat your food, change your tanks, vent your tanks. I skipped most of that because, everybody knows how that goes. And there's still temperature in here, so I drain that until it says nil. And I let that other pump run. Now here we go. I'm still cooling. I let that cool as long as I can. And it did warm it up in here, so I dropped that tank down to do my liquid oxygen radiant cooling. And here's what I'm saying. Well, okay, this tank's really in the way because I want to, and it never lands the way you want it to. Because I'm going to want to use this whole section. So here's where I say, okay, you served your purpose. Thank you very much, oxygen tank. I'll save you for later. In just a tank mode, I'm going to empty you. And first I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to over-pressurize the room. And when I realized I didn't, I just opened it up and let her rip. And it goes down really quick. It only brought me up to 93, so I was fine. So I say goodbye to the oxygen tank. Thank you very much. We'll save you for later. And again, I got no room because of all these stupid bottles. But trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. Now, I want to go 3 rows if I can do it. And the first one should be right there. I'm still cooling, so that's good. Down to 28, I can put that back. That may be a cheat, I don't know, but it works. And I actually kind of accidentally bought that liquid oxygen. I had selected it, and then I thought I deselected it when I bought some other stuff, and I didn't. So I'm like, what is this? I'm like, oh, what am I going to do with that? And then it turned out I set it down in there, and the temperature got down to like 26. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Don't remember exactly what. I do have a problem here. When stuff comes out of my autolathe, the furnace sucks it right into the input. So I gotta eventually put. I lost a couple plastic sheets and a couple glasses during that. I gotta put eventually a chute input on that, so, and with an angle so it doesn't steal everything I print out of my autolathe, which it is currently doing. And here I'm printing up the pipes to set up my new greenhouse section. I can do 10. Yep, 10. Okay. Now I do make a mistake here. Not here, but in the near future. And thank goodness, if you look at my locker, remember that little can of soup that I bought just in case? I actually need it because I screw up here in kind of a major way. If I didn't have that can of soup, I probably would have died, unfortunately, because I should have used my seeds, and I didn't. I used my potatoes, and I don't know why I did that. Now, all the thinking I do before I do some things, I didn't think before I did this, and I have all these seeds, and I literally use every one of my potatoes to do this without thinking of the consequences. And next time it came to get food, I'm like, all I have is what's in my hand there, the 30%, and it wasn't enough. And I end up having to eat out of that can of soup twice. So that little, let's grab a can of soup, probably saved my life in this game. And here I'm just saying, here's what I'm like pulling everything out. I said, I'm tired of tripping over this thing anyway. But, you have to do this stuff when you first start here. You just don't have enough oxygen and stuff to set all this up. Now, I am very careful about how I take this apart because I do not want to lose any water. So if I isolate a section, like I did just there, didn't I? I didn't notice that. I did. I lost 3. I didn't notice that. I lost 3 cells worth of water because I didn't go the right way. And that explains where I had a loss of water, and I didn't know why. Now I know why. Unless there's a pipe over there, I'm not sure. When I take this last one out, is there a pipe there? There is not. That was dumb. I just noticed it. But I didn't notice it until I watched it and did this video. So I lost 10 liters of water doing that because when I rescan this at the end, I'm at 40 liters, and I'm like, how did I get down so low? And that cable was there from quite a while ago, and I realized I don't think I need that anymore. You know, you're always worried about cutting cables because what are you disconnecting? But I was pretty sure that was hooked up to my earlier setups. So here we go. It's all hooked up. Obviously, this isn't enough yet. Again, use your seeds. Oops. So now I'm trying to figure out, okay, how many am I going to have? How many more do I have to make? Hydroponics bays, I'm counting in my head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need 8. And that's done, so I can turn that off. Alright. Now remember, I counted 8. I think I do have to make some, behind the scenes, I do have to make some iron. So I pause it while I'm doing that, if I remember right. Trying to empty my hands a little bit so I can load up some of the stupid water bottles and get rid of them. Now here's where I go to make the hydroponics units. And I remember hydroponic tray, yeah. See, I don't have enough oxygen, so now, maybe I don't, yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I skipped that part. I made the iron printed, how many trays? 7. I counted 8. I printed 7. So I'm out here thinking, all right, I'm going to finish all this up. Trying to figure out what I'm doing here. All right, 1. I got enough trays now. No. I'm like, damn it. I counted 7. I did 8. I don't know why. And here I'm thinking, don't rush, don't rush. Yeah, thank you. I've done that once already. Don't feel like having to wait till all that recycling's out of there again. Oh, and the pipes were groaning. I forgot about that. You probably heard that. I'm trying to figure out why my pipes are overpressurizing, so I open things up a little bit just to make sure I'm okay. They weren't going to explode, but they were groaning. And of course, I run back in here again. And I still forget to make that extra hydroponics bay. And here's where I do the dumb thing. Use your seeds. Use your seeds. And I used every one of the potatoes that I had picked. And I still have one. I'm like, oh, I have seeds over here. It has not dawned on me the stupidity of my ways yet. Now I gotta move the light. Pretty quick. Now I only have 7 or 6 rows. You can cover 7 and 3. So if I put the power over the 3rd one, I can cover all this if I put it right in the center. So there's the power. I don't like that direction because it's going to cost me more cabling. Thinking, yep, switch it. Is that the middle? 1, 2, yep, that's the middle. Just go over here and check, make sure. Yep, that should cover it. Then I have all these extra wires and trying to keep things somewhat organized. Plus I need the cables. Now, of course, since I moved the light, I would have to reset everything. So, and I got a nice little cable right next to it. It's a little cramped in here still, but again, you kind of have to do it when I go the wrong way. This is how I am with my color vision and the 3-dimensional stuff. I have a really hard time with that. And I turn that on. And of course, it's not being run yet. So I have to come over here. I apologize looking up. It's a little hectic. It's time for water. My water alarm's going off. I ignore it. I don't know exactly why I did that. I guess I wanted to get this taken care of. So I just reset everything. And surprise, surprise. Like, huh. Why do I only see the area power controller? Because I got it looped different than I had it before. So now I have to take out the power controller. A big deal. I'll just take that out. I don't really need it. I use it more as a battery charger than anything else. So I just take that down. And then I'm kind of in a panic because all my electronic gear is turned off in here now, and for some reason that bugged me, so I just went with a big cable. Everything powered back up. Wasn't that big of a deal, but for some reason I got a little panicky about it. Here's where I'm like, okay, I need what? There we go. Now I do add a light meter also. Yeah, behind the scenes. Here's where I finally realized the error of my ways. I'm like, I got 64. Oh, where's those potatoes that I had? I had a bunch of potatoes.
Waste tank caution.
I finally realized I planted all my potatoes and I move on from it because then I've thought about, well, I have the can of food, thank God. But that was really dumb. Still got to get the light hooked up. I should be able to do that now. There we go. Oh, there it is. Okay, turn that on. The light turns off, so I know it's working. And now, here's where I'm like, what am I going to do for food? Yeah, the can. So eventually I eat out of the can, but I realized that was really stupid. And all the plants are in their early mode. So I probably would have died before, because I only have 61% food. And I don't think my plants would have harvested before that. And I end up eating twice out of that can of food. Oh, thank goodness. I'm just setting this down as a charger again because I do use it. Throw a new battery in my suit every once in a while I'm in here. It's funny how you need a cable to do this, but it doesn't use a cable. But you can't do it unless you have a cable. But it doesn't use a cable. I still have two cables. You should probably only need the clippers for that, but okay. And then I said, I don't know why I did that. Let's fix that. Kind of an obsessive compulsive thing. There we go, good to go. Put that back down there. Tank is refilling thanks to the regulator now. Here's where I realized, where did 10 liters of water go? I don't think much of it because I had thought that maybe I just spread the pipes out more. Or maybe the hydroponics used more, but it's because I pulled those 3 hydroponics trays out in reverse, and that ended up losing some water for me. And now I'm like, okay, I just got to dump this. And I left that on. I should turn that off. It's on. Turn it off. That was a waste. Now I have a pressure buildup that I'm worried about, so I open that. Open that. It's draining. I want to get all that air out of there. Good enough. Need a new soup battery. Did I make that 8th tray yet? I do that eventually. I don't know if I filmed that or not. Maybe that's what I'm doing here. Yep. And I remember I could just back it up on. Yeah, just back it up because I hit the forward arrow. There we go. You go through so much iron in this Vulcan. I don't think I've ever gone through so much iron. Sounds like a silly thing, but I seem to be mining iron constantly. Yep, I can use seed. Hey, I can use a seed instead of using the potatoes that I shouldn't have been using. So there we go. I have 18 potato plants growing. I could probably get 3 more in, either on one side or the other. I may try that. I have not gotten to the point. I'm at day 52 now. I haven't gotten to the point to find out if this is maintaining. It does raise my oxygen level, but I pull that back out and put it into my tank, which I think I do right here. First I turn the AC on. Yep, might as well do it. 11% or 10% efficiency. It keeps it cooling up in here until you pop open frames. And my backpack's fully charged. So just about wraps it up for this episode, I think. But I made a lot of progress. Got much closer to oxygen independent. I want to have an oxygen surplus so I can start making my own water. Now, I have to do some research. I don't need all those potato plants. I have a funny feeling ferns. That's it. Ferns may give you more oxygen. I have to look into that. But there you go. Again, Navy Old Salt Gamer. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the near future.